Hi guys, today I am filming a very exciting video on the products I've hit pan on for 2017. I have done two of these videos in the past. The first one I did was forever ago. My makeup skills were not like they are today. The video quality wasn't as good, but I am going to be linking it up here for you guys if you want to check it out, because I had hit pan on a bronzer and a contour, which if you guys have tried to pan those items, you know it can be really hard and take a long time. At least it can for me. So I want you guys to check that out because I'm very proud of that progress. And then in 2015, I filmed a video just like the one I'm doing today, showing you a big collection of items that I've hit pan on. And in that video, I mostly had a bunch of face powders. Because I'm oily skin, I was just busting through face powders left and right. And then I had a couple brow products and just a few shadows. And I will have that video linked up here. And for today's video, it's like that has switched. I only have one face powder, and that's because I've been working on a lot of loose powder for this year, which takes a lot longer to go through. But I've hit pan on quite a few shadows. So I have really exciting panning progress to share with you guys. I am just going to run through these items, show you the panning progress. I'll give you a little mini review and let you know whether I would repurchase them or not. So starting with face products, the first thing I've hit pan on is the MAC Studio Finish Concealer in the shade NC15. I had originally purchased this to use as a blemish concealer, and while I like it for that, I prefer my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. So instead, I have been using this to fill in my forehead wrinkles as well as clean up my eyeshadow and my eyebrows. And this concealer comes with a ton of product. It's in the same packaging as MAC eyeshadows, but the pan of these is so much deeper. So this entire packaging is filled with product. So it took me a really long time to hit pan, especially with the way that I was using it. I didn't need as much. I really love the consistency of this concealer. I don't think it is too dry or too emollient, but it's definitely not something I would recommend for the under eyes. I do really like this and I use it on a daily basis, but I don't quite think it's something that I would repurchase. Then I have hit pan on my Rimmel Stay Matte Powder. This is in the transparent shade. I've hit pretty major pan. After this video, I'm going to be repressing this so I can use it easier. This is my Holy Grail #1 touch-up powder. I have tried several different powders to touch up, and the reason this one is my favorite is because when I apply just a little bit of it, it makes me look matte without looking dry or my makeup looking patchy. My makeup actually goes back to looking as good as it did when I first applied it. I think this is amazing. I don't like using this as a setting powder, but for touch-up, this is Holy Grail, so I absolutely will repurchase this. And I have some really exciting face products because I have hit pan on my first blush and my first highlighter this year, which was so exciting. The blush that I hit pan on is Benefit Coralista. This is actually the oldest blush in my collection. You guys know that this is a cult classic, very popular blush. It's a really pretty light peachy creamsicle color that I really like wearing in the springtime. And while I do like the formula, I like this shade. For me, this is a little bit too subtle. I prefer deeper peaches. And it's a beautiful natural cheek, but I like more intense blushes. So this is not something I'd repurchase, but I am so proud of the fact that I've hit pan on this because I own a ton of blushes. And hitting pan on my first highlight was very exciting for me because I'm not someone that overdoes it on highlight. I only put it on the top of my cheekbone so I don't run through it as quickly as someone that puts it in several areas on their face. And I hit pan on the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed in the shade Pearl, which is their shimmery white shade. And this actually did not take me too long to hit pan on. I was using this consistently every single day for 3 months and I hit pan, which is very exciting. That did take a little bit of dedication, but the pan of the Becca highlighters isn't so deep, and also the formula of this is pretty powdery and I get a lot of kick up, but it is really pigmented. It's a very pretty shade and I only recommend this color for fair skin tones, but for me, the mix of the color and the formula just sit on top of my skin instead of looking like one with my skin. So this is not something I'd repurchase, but I'm not a big highlighter girl in general. And then I have two brow powders, and I actually did feature both of these in that 2015 video. The first one I have is my MAC Eyeshadow in Omega. Since that video, the pan has greatly expanded in this, and this is an eyeshadow, but I love it for a brow powder. MAC sells several different matte eyeshadows that would work really well for brow powders. They have actually released collections of brow powder duos that are using their shadows. They're very, very pigmented and they don't apply patchy whatsoever. This is the best very light, very cool tone color for blondes that have cool tone hair. I absolutely love this product, and I think it's something I would like to try to use up next year and then probably repurchase. And then I also have this Lorac Take a Brow Kit in the shade Blonde. The one I showed you in 2015, I actually used up, repurchased, and I have hit pan on it, if you guys can see. I love the formula of this as well. This one is a little bit more pigmented and you pick up more product on the brush than the MAC. But this is very, very smooth, soft, easy to work with. And I like this one because it is a warm tone blonde brow powder without looking too orange or red. It really just holds that fine line of being warm but not too warm. Absolutely amazing. I actually already have a backup of this because unfortunately this has been discontinued, but Lorac still has this on their website. 4 different shades, and they have it for between $9 and $11. I would recommend picking it up, but I always want to have these two in my collection for a cool tone and a warm tone option, and I love the formula of both of these. Moving on to cream shadow, I have 2 Maybelline color tattoos. So the first one I have is called Barely Beige, which was a limited edition. This is a really pretty pinky champagne shade. They do have the color Barely branded in their permanent line, which is a little bit more of a yellow toned champagne, but it is very similar. As you can see, I've used up a ton of this. I have less than half of the product left. I really like this as a base for any champagne shadows. And then we have the shade Pomegranate Punk, the most amazing cranberry base. I think this is so beautiful. I pair this under any of my cranberry shadows, and I do have a good bit of pan there. Unfortunately, they did discontinue this shade. Maybelline discontinued all of the colorful shades in this range, and they only kept the neutrals, which is a bummer because I absolutely love this. But I don't know if I would repurchase either of these. This one is going to be hard to repurchase. I'd have to try to find it online, and I don't wear champagne shades too often except in the spring, and I actually pair this with a powder shadow that I'm about to show you. I love the Maybelline color tattoos. These are my favorite cream shadows. I think they have an amazing formula, very pigmented, very creamy, and easy to work with. And when these do dry out, all you have to do is take a toothpick, chop up the product, and then smooth it out with your finger, and it is good to go. You don't need to add in any eye drops or any of those other random products. All you need is a toothpick and they're good as new. So I absolutely love the Maybelline color tattoos. And then I've hit pan on 5 ColourPop Super Shock shadows. Now these don't have a ton of product in them, so they're easy to go through, especially the matte finishes for me. For some reason, I just blow through these. So the first 2 shades I want to show you together because they are very similar. This is the shade Brady, which is a matte finish, and this is the shade Bill, which is a matte finish. I really love wearing both of these as a transition color or a crease color, and as you can see, Brady is more of a pinky tan brown, and the shade Bill is more of a purpley taupey gray color. So these are in the same color family, but you can see that they are very different. And I paired this with more rosy shadows, and I paired this with more cool tone taupey shadows, and I absolutely love both of these. These are 2 shades that I would actually think about repurchasing because I think that they are just perfect transition crease colors for my skin tone. And then I have 3 more bright, colorful shades that were part of a limited edition spring collection from a little while back. This is a shade in a Pickle, a really pretty peachy pink. I was using this one as a transition shade. It's not something I would repurchase because it can pull a little bit too pink. It works as a transition color, but it isn't my favorite, so this is not something I'd repurchase. Then I have the shade Snapdragon. Is this not the most gorgeous bluey green color? Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. I would love to have this color in nail polish. I'm sure I already do. And this is a shade that I could wear on the lid or on the lower lash line. And this is a pretty shade, but I do have some other colors that are similar, so this probably isn't something I'd repurchase, but it's super cool. And then I have a little baby pan on the shade Daddy, and they sell this as a pressed pigment because this does have some dyes that will stain your lid, so they can't technically sell it as an eyeshadow, but that's how I used it. This is really pretty on the lid or the lower lash line. I loved wearing this on my lid, and I would actually repurchase it if I ran out of this shade. And the rest of the items I'm going to show you are actually all regular powder shadows, and I have quite a few, which makes me so happy because honestly I've never really hit pan on a ton of powder shadows before, so it feels like such an accomplishment. The first one I have here is Wet n Wild Brulee. You guys saw this in the 2015 video, but I have finished up several of these since then. This is the perfect matte cream color that I can use to help clean up my shadow as well as set my eye primer. This is definitely something I'll repurchase. And the next shadows I've hit pan on come from the Wet n Wild Walking on Eggshells trio, which you guys know is very popular on YouTube. In any beginner's guide to makeup video, you are gonna see this. So I have hit major pan on the Pinky Champagne lid shade and also quite a bit of pan in this crease color here. I love this trio. I wore it so much in the springtime, and I love using the Maybelline Color Tattoo in Barely Beige as a base underneath of that champagne shade, which is how I hit pan on both of these this year, is because I just use them so frequently. So I absolutely love the formula of this trio. I think it is phenomenal quality, but these are all shimmery shades. I would recommend using a matte transition color and a matte brow bone highlight if that's your thing. But this is something that I think I actually will repurchase once I use it up. Even though I don't love champagne shades, I use this so much as a go-to look in the springtime, and I have for years, that I definitely think that I repurchase it, but I think that is pretty dang good progress on this. And next I have 3 eyeshadows that I used all together to create a look. One of them is a single and 2 of these shades are from a palette. And if you guys follow my different project pans, you have probably already seen this, but I was so excited to hit pan on these items just in time to film this video, and that would be 3 eyeshadows from Anatasia. I hit pan on 2 shades from this Anastasia Tomato palette. This shade Gilded, which is a golden bronze, and this shade Bengal, which is a really amazing warm mid-tone medium brown. Gilded is a shade that is exclusive to this palette, but Bengal is a shade that is sold individually. I love the formula of Anastasia shadows. Both the shimmers and the mattes I think perform really well. I would not repurchase Gilded even if it was available in a single, because on my eyes it just shows up as just like a regular shimmery bronze brown, which isn't my favorite color on my skin tone, but Bengal is one of the best crease colors I've ever used. I will absolutely repurchase that once I finish it up. And along with those other shadows, I was using Anastasia Birkin as my transition color. I've hit really good pan on this shade. It is a phenomenal warm tone transition color for me. Absolutely a holy grail shadow, and I definitely will repurchase it once I finish it up. From the Urban Decay Naked Original palette, I have hit pan on the shade Naked. This is a really nice neutral undertone light tan color that is a good transition color with more neutral tone eyes, and I also like it as a transition color when using this palette, especially when I'm wearing Half Baked on the lid. This is a good shade, and I used to really love it, but I found a lot more transition colors that I prefer over this one, so it's not something I'd repurchase. And then I've hit pan on 2 shades in one of my all-time favorite palettes. This is theBalm Meet Matte Nude. I have hit major pan on this shade Matte Malloy, which is the best matte white I've ever used. You would think that all matte whites are the same, but I would have to disagree. The formula of this is incredible. I use this every single day as a brow bone highlight, which I can get away with because I'm so fair. And then I have a little bit of pan here on the shade Matte Singh, which is a beautiful peachy tan color that I like using as a transition with the Wet n Wild Walking on Eggshells trio. It works really well with that one. This is an amazing shade. I absolutely love it. So guys, those are all of the items in my collection that I have hit pan on. I am hoping to do one of these videos again next year, and hopefully I have a lot of new, amazing, exciting pan progress to share with you guys. It is just so exciting and so rewarding to see all this pan and all of this hard work. I love watching these videos from other people, and I love watching my old videos back too, because it just feels so exciting. So I would love to know in the comments down below what products you've hit pan on recently, and if you filmed a video like this, I would love to watch it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.